Trump first. Over the weekend, this was trending. He gave a fiery speech at his Mar-a-Lago resort in front of GOP donors, calling Mitch McConnell, a word we can't say here on air, and saying he was disappointed with his former Vice President, Mike Pence. I want to start with you, Stephen. What does this mean? First off, I mean, Trump has said controversial things in the past, so this is not a first. But what does this mean for the GOP party? Is it still Trump's party?
Right. So a lot of people have been talking about how he was speaking to this room full of GOP donors, said these nasty things, and they sort of all applauded and were really into the presentation he was giving. And what I was thinking when we were reading this was the GOP donors that are left, right? Like a lot of people have left the Republican coalition, particularly corporate America. The people who used to just really care about business interests, right? And were not very interested in what we now call Trumpism. So, you know, it's the GOP donors that are left and really into the kind of politics that Donald Trump is pushing. And I don't think it's very representative of most conservatives across the country.
Nicole, I want to ask you, do you agree with Stephen that this isn't an indication of how the larger party feels? And is there an opportunity for Democrats, say, to maybe pounce on an opportunity here?
Yeah, I think the Republican Party is in the middle of a bit of a crisis. I mean, we see that the RNC has 84 million in cash on hand, and Donald Trump has 85 million cash on hand. So that's a lot of money that he's been raising into a personal PAC that's not going to the party infrastructure the way we would have seen it do so in other off years during the cycle. So this is certainly a problem that the Republicans are facing, and it's really going to be a problem, and we're going to see how it plays out in their primaries and who emerges out of a lot of these different Senate races and House races from these primaries, and where they sort of fall in that spectrum as to where the party goes.
All right, I want to switch gears here to something that you guys can directly relate to, or at least maybe have been impacted by. Summer camps. I know both of you have young children. You're local. Montgomery County is having a hearing tomorrow about establishing some type of guidance when it comes to summer camps and resuming operations. I'll start with you, Stephen. Do you have your kids in summer camp? Is that something you'd be interested in?
Well, as soon as y'all reached out about this segment, I realized I had not done the registration yet, and I got it done this weekend. So, yes, I am sending my child to camp in Virginia. I'm
curious, was it hard? We have reported in previous weeks about the spots filling up quickly. Was it hard for you to get a spot?
No, it went pretty seamlessly, but, you know, it's clear that there is high demand. I mean, prices are pretty high right now to get kids into summer camps. I think that's a supply and demand issue. And, of course, also camps taking the extra steps necessary to make sure that everybody is as safe as can possibly be and that parents feel comfortable sending their kids to summer camp at the tail end of this pandemic. But, you know, facts remain. You know, this is a disease that does not largely threaten kids 5 to 17 years old. The flu is still more deadly to kids than COVID-19. We need to get our kids back in camp and enjoying their lives again.
Nicole, I want to go to the restrictions in place and the safety guidelines. We have variants going around, more transmissible. Kids can transmit the virus. Do you have any concerns? Were you looking specifically into guidelines and safety precautions?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the first thing is Montgomery County having a hearing and letting the public contribute their input and having it be a public discussion is very important. We see a lot of different ideas and, as you said, restrictions that are possibly put into place. There are a lot of safe ways to have these camps happen. This is an $18 billion industry. This is a lot of jobs. And this is about the social and mental welfare of our kids, too. Not to mention the parents' ability to work. This is what a lot of parents use as different childcare in the summer. So it's important for us to realize that there are safe ways to have camp. I personally am sending my 3.5-year-old to camp this summer, but unlike Stephen, I signed her up in January, so I'm glad to hear that.
Nicole's like, I knew back then.
Discounts.
All right. Well, I can't speak for your kids, but I know a lot of kids, just generally. I mean, you love summer camp, so I'm sure, given if it's done safely, that they'll be even more excited after the year we've had. All right, Stephen and Nicole, thanks for joining me this morning. Appreciate it.
Have a great morning.
Thank you.
All right, Wiz, I'll send it over to you.